like 5-6 lakhs in one deal. I thought this is the best job in the world. And today that same area is at 10 to 12 crores an acre. No broker doesn't work. It is the developers who are having the FOMO moment. Every big developer wants to put their brand on those roads, but they're not able to. So on Academy, he saw the STRR, he was shocked out of his mind. He was so happy. So for me to witness that as a developer, the joy on a customer's face was, unparalleled. Brochures don't sell real estate. It is, a transparency. It is facts. And of course, following due process of legalities that sells a plot.
So Saad, were you a backbencher in school and college?
I think I started off as a very diligent student when I was in school in Mission Cottons. And as I grew up, I kept going one row at the back. I ended up being a backbencher in college.
So where did you study in college?
So I actually started off in Sophia High School.
Sophia?
Yeah.
Okay.
So back then, I think even now, they have boys till 3rd or 4th grade.
Yeah.
So I was one of those boys who did his 3rd and 4th grade till then. And then we moved to Mission Cottons, where I was there till 10th grade. And then I moved to Clarence for my 11th and 12th. And I did my BBM in CMS.
Got it.
Yeah.
So did young Saad ever dream of joining real estate?
I think the young Saad was just planning to go into his father's furniture business and sell dining tables and sofas and get interior jobs, because that's what my father used to do. My entire family was in the retail business. My uncle still have shops on Commercial Street. So that was the only plan. There was no other plan.
So how did you get into real estate?
So there's a small story behind how I got into real estate. Me and my family were looking for an apartment to move into. And, one of my uncles was doing a project in Cooktown. So I called him, I said, we want to look at an apartment. So he said, go and see what we have. And I went and saw it. It was over the budget. And I told my mom, it's not working out. Then meantime, I came across some HDFC managers who are friends of mine. I still know their names. And they said, I called them up. I said, there's a lovely apartment in Cooktown that's come up. It's about 1.35 crores. It's under 1.5. It's your budget. Why don't you look at it? And I said, great. We'll come and take a look at it. And they came and saw it, showed to their family. I closed that deal in 2 days. And I made about 5-6 lakhs in commissions. For a kid who's 18, 19 years old to make 5-6 lakhs in one deal, I thought this is the best job in the world, So that's how we got into it. That was the start of the real estate journey.
So while you had like a very interesting start and like a very remarkable, you had like a major success in like your first deal itself, like closing a deal. Yeah, because closing a deal worth 5 lakh, 5-6 lakh in 2 days is pretty remarkable. How was the journey like, to getting where you are today?
I think that in real estate, it's about consistency. It's about really being there, at grassroots levels. You need to work your way up and you need to be really patient, because that first deal happened in 2 days, but there are deals that didn't happen for 2 years,
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of my colleagues at that time who were also doing real estate, a lot of them fizzled out. One got into F&B, one guy got into retail. But there is a struggle that every realtor, every sales guy goes through, which we have to go through. I think that is a pivot, that is a changing moment that you need to find in yourself to go through to be where you are.
Got it. So Saad, before we get into Bulwark, what's actually happening in Bangalore real estate right now? The narrative for 2 years has been South Bangalore is saturated, North is the next decade. Is that real, or is this just a developer's pitch deck?
So North Bangalore is not speculative anymore. It is growing in real time. We have seen that place transform in the last 5 years. For the longest time, I think people knew the Bangalore airport was there, and then there was a city, and there was this gap. Nothing was happening for years and years. But in the last 5 to 8 years, that place has transformed. Companies have moved, apartments are coming up, roads, infrastructure is built up really well, CBD and other areas are saturated. Better apartments, better villas, larger communities, better connectivity has transformed that entire area, and people are looking to go that side. So it is not a marketing gimmick. It is not just fancy brochures and talks that people are doing. Things are really, really moving there.
Got it. And so when Bulwark started earlier as Bulwark Properties and Investments, you were essentially a sales outfit selling other people's projects before actually becoming a developer. Can you walk us through the transition? And what was that trigger to switch from being like a realtor to essentially becoming a developer?
I think there are a lot of developers who are really established today at some point were in the real estate business, right?
Yeah.
I think that is the best learning curve that you can get, because you're learning from the customers, you're learning from the ground up as to what the requirement really is. So we were doing that for the longest time. I myself was a realtor for the longest time. We did a lot of real estate business, selling apartments and villas, primarily in CBD. And I enjoyed the business. You know, it was really good business. But at some point, you really want to grow beyond that. You want to do your own thing. For the longest time, we were saying, no, the developer's not giving this. He's not finishing on time. The office doesn't respond properly. So there was always an urge. There's always a need inside our hearts, you know, that someday we should be on that side, providing better quality, better timelines, more transparency, where customers can meet the developer, meet the owner directly, talk to him, clarify. And that's the effort. So that's where the transition happened. And I'm really glad that I did. I'm really happy to be on this side of the table than on that side. But our real estate business is still very active. And, you know, it's a really great space to be in.
Yeah. I mean, you know, your job as a realtor essentially is to understand like a customer's needs and then identify the right property for them.
Yeah.
Do you think your experience as a realtor sort of gave you like a distinct advantage when it came to actually creating a property that people would really appreciate and buy?
Absolutely, 100%. I think if I just jumped into my father's chair and if he was a developer, I wouldn't know anything about what a customer really wants. I wouldn't know what a broker goes through. I wouldn't know what exactly a customer is looking for when he goes out actually looking for a house to buy. So being a realtor has really helped me with my foundation of my understanding of the business to understand, you know, exactly what a buyer goes through, what stages of the transaction he goes through from intent to actually closing that sale deed. There is a journey, and that I've understood very well being on the ground, you know.
Yeah.
Customers call without a budget. Some people call thinking whether they should invest or not. And earlier it was about, you know, customers would say that chat ho jaye pehle. Like, we should buy a house first. But that narrative has changed. People are no longer, especially the younger crowds, are not thinking house first. They're thinking investments first. They're thinking, where can the money grow, you know? So that has really, that being on the ground with customers in the real estate business, talking to so many customers in a single day, showing them different apartments where they don't like the facing, they don't like the locality, they don't like the neighbor, something doesn't feel right. So there are a lot of, you know, buyers from different walks of life, and the more you talk to customers, the better you understand the business.
Got it. And why Devanahalli specifically? You have Hennur, Sarjapur, Whitefield, Hosur Road. Every direction in Bangalore has a thesis. What made you concentrate the entire company on one corridor?
To be honest with you, I think every part of Bangalore is growing in its own way. And I think if you buy the right real estate at the right price in any part of Bangalore, you will make money. But given that the other places are saturated, there is a huge shortage of land, there is infrastructure, you know, difficulties that people aren't able to commute from HSR to Whitefield. I probably take lesser time to go to the airport than people are traveling from HSR to Whitefield. If I have to go from here to Whitefield, I'll probably spend 2 or 3 hours to get there and to come back. So I think that in terms of opportunity, North Bangalore is offering a lot more, a lot better. You know, people are seeing growth. There's no saturation. Still, you know, I'm not sure where it'll be in the next 10 years, but right now there's still a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of land available. Of course, clarity in terms of title is another matter, but there is a lot of things happening for Bangalore in the north.
Got it. And now can you walk me through your process of essentially picking up land parcel? Because there are hundreds of land options available in Devanahalli. Yeah. What's your filter from like, you know, like 100 options to actually narrowing down like this is the one?
We probably get 5 to 10 parcels of land being sent to us on a daily basis with sketches and Google pins and serve. It's extremely good, extremely clean. So we are focusing on a certain corridor in Devanahalli where there are schools, there is manufacturing, the STRR. Airport should be within 15, 20 minutes of drive. So we're looking in that pocket. North Bangalore is huge. And like you said, if you drive down to the airport today, you're going to see lands everywhere. But how much of that land is clear? How much of that land is actually transactable? It is not something that is easy to find. So for us, I think we identify a land based on our interest and our likeness of that area. Will people see growth in that area? Will people buying in that area feel the growth in the next 4 to 5 years? That is essentially where we look at. And I always tell my team, I said, see the land, meet the owners first, do title later. Because essentially the people who are selling to you have to be good. And we've had experiences where transactions were happened within 1 month because the owners were excellent people. They were farmers, but they were really nice people. Nice, good family of people. Transaction happened very smoothly. But there have been transactions that have dragged on for years and years after money being paid. So it is only a matter of, identifying a certain area and dealing with the right people.
A lot of people that like I've come across and spoken to have always said that, why would I work with a broker when I have platforms like NoBroker are essentially guys who bypass like a middleman.
Yeah.
And again, as everyone knows, there are a lot of stories when it comes to buying land in like North Bangalore or any part of India actually where people are like cheated out of or like things get stretched out a lot.
Yeah.
Aside from like the obvious, what are reasons that someone should really work with a realtor before committing to any real estate purchase?
I think that real estate is a broker-driven business. Any developer who says that realtors are not required is really not going to get far. The biggest of names in Bangalore have worked with realtors, and most of the plots and apartments are sold through the broker community. Why a broker? How does the customer decide which project to go for, right?
Yeah.
Every builder is beating his own drum. I'm the best. I'm giving you the best quality. I'm giving you the best location. What does the broker do? He's not even charging you a fee, right? Yeah. He's getting you out of your house, showing you 10 properties, giving you the best deals, giving you market knowledge on the way. You're getting free service. So why not? I mean, if I was a buyer, I'd definitely go through a broker. I would not just go and, how would you understand a certain market? If you're in Devanahalli, or if you're new to Devanahalli, every road is different from the other, right? And there are so many different pockets. So you get a guy who has got good knowledge in the area, who shows you around. It's a great service to use.
Got it. So the reason I asked you that question is because I'm going to ask you a follow-up. If you had to give me one word to describe NoBroker, what would it be? We can edit this out if you're not comfortable with it, but...
I just said NoBroker doesn't work.
Got it. Again, so now coming back to the land in Devanahalli.
Yeah.
When you bought your first piece of land in Devanahalli, what was the approximate per acre price and what is it selling for today?
Just a couple of years ago, not too long ago, when we started our first project, Northern Boulevard, in the Chapparakallu-IVC Road Junction, we were negotiating land for 2.5 crores an acre. We told the landowner, the realtor who got us the land, we said, it's extremely high. How are we going to launch this? How are we going to sell this? And today that same area is at 10 to 12 crores an acre in the last 4 to 5 years. And now people are buying. People are buying at 12, people are buying at 10. And surprisingly enough, I think it's not the customers who are having a FOMO moment. It is the developers who are having a FOMO moment. Every big developer wants to put their brand on those roads, but they're not able to. So, the buyers are not feeling the fear of missing out. It's the builders who are rushing in with all their money and saying, get me something there.
Got it.
Yeah.
So, coming back to like, again, something that's like very well known in like the real estate market. Niranjan Hiranandani spotted Bhavai 35 years ago, 250 acres paid in deferred installments because nobody else wanted that land. The infrastructure didn't exist. His own father was scared because he saw the site. Was your Devanahalli bet the same kind of move, betting on an airport corridor before the market could see it? Or were you arriving once the corridor was already obvious?
So I don't think that we weren't in that early.
Yeah.
We did go in when there was, a hope of roads being built, infrastructure was still coming up, but it was still quite a risky affair because a couple of years ago, 5 years ago, the market wasn't the same as it is today, So it was a very risky bet, but it was the only bet that we had. We had an opportunity of a large parcel of land with good landowners who are willing to develop it together with us. So we didn't have to buy the land outright, and we didn't want to let that opportunity pass. And I think that really paid us well, in return.
You tell us a story of how this opportunity came to you.
So basically, a couple of years ago, there was this landowner who had a nice piece of land in Devanahalli. It was about 9 acres of land. And me and my partners, we went and met him. He said he wanted to sell the land. And so, we said, we have to go look for a buyer now, see who wants to buy that land. So, it's a lot of effort. So we went back to him with a proposal. We said, we'll develop your land and we'll sell it for you. Either way, you'll take 3-4 months to transact on your land. Give us 6-8 months. We'll develop it, we will sell it, and we'll give you much more in return. So we gave him a minimum guarantee. We gave him checks, we gave him paperwork. We took a little bit of risk because the area was really good. In 6 months, we were able to sell that land. We were able to make the plots, do the roads, It's about 2,500, 2,700 rupees a square foot in those 5 years ago. Today it's about 7,000 rupees a square foot. So I think that it really, really, added a lot of value to us for taking that risk. And, the landowner also took his bet with us. So that's how it started.
Why plots and not apartments? Because like the big developers, your Prestige, Sobha Brigade, they're all apartment led. But you picked the format that they didn't.
I think in the area that we are in right now, all the developers you mentioned have their projects there, and they're also doing plotted development.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that there are certain areas where you do apartments, certain areas where you do villas, but the corridor of North Bangalore essentially is really, really prime for plots. People are seeing a real value in buying a plot. There's a sense of ownership, there's a sense of attachment, and I think that the sentiment is, in the end, I want my own land, and we're able to cater to that sentiment, and in a corridor, in a space where it's rapidly growing. So people are really happy to buy there, and they're seeing a lot of growth. So I mean, that place where we're doing plots right now, there are apartments coming right now, there are villas coming right now. I don't think in the next 4 to 5 years going forward, there will be plots coming there. It'll be too expensive to do plots. There will be villas and development coming up.
Got it. So again, now taking Northern Boulevard specifically, 18.5 acres, 269 plots ranging from 50 lakh to 3.15 crore. What's the gross margin on a plotted development versus what like an apartment builder typically makes?
I think that builders obviously make a lot more money on apartments and built up area, because when you do a plotted development, you're only selling so much. I'll give you a simple example. Like you said, 18 acres has 270 plots. How many apartments do you think people like Prestige and Sobha are building on a 10, 15 acre plot? You have hundreds and thousands of apartments. So I think that margins are very high with apartments, so long as the market there is requiring apartments and people are, having their work close by, connectivity is good and things like that. But where we are right now, plotted development is the way to go.
Got it. And can you walk us through like, one project from we just acquired the land to we sold the last plot? How long does that take, and where does the money actually go in all these months?
So simple example is Northern Boulevard. It took a total of 2 years from start to finish. Thankfully, the land is already converted. If it wasn't converted, that's another 1 year of timeline. So for us, the challenge is not selling. The challenge is approvals. It's the title check. It's the conversion. It is the RERA approvals. Those are the things that take time. So when coming to the money primarily goes to the landlords. They are the kings. If you own a piece of land in Devanahalli, you are the king. We are only service providers. So we are servicing the landlords for their share of land and for the money that we promised them. And of course, a lot of the money goes into the construction of the layout itself.
Got it. So Costco built a $200 billion business on the warehouse format, while everyone else built supermarkets.
Yeah.
Same products, deliberately uglier store, much better economics. Was your bet on plots versus apartments the same kind of contrarian format choice, or did capital constraints push you there before strategy did?
I think it was mostly about demand and supply. We knew there was a huge demand for ownership of plots in Devanahalli. A lot of big developers are moving that side. That made our work slightly easier. And I don't think we were ahead of the curve. We were just there at the right time. We hit the right spot to make sure that the clients who were looking for plots, we were there to supply those, requirement to them. And it worked very well for us.
Got it. And, coming now to like your team. So most developer founder teams have a builder at the top, or like, the construction guy basically. Your founder team has you on sales, Kushal on operations, Wasim as the architect, and the salesperson is co-equal, not a hire. Why does this matter?
So, I mean, the advantage of having a small setup, a small company, or a young company is that we're all on the ground, right? So Wasim primarily handles legalities and landowners. Other partners have their own portfolio. I'm handling investments and sales. So at this point, we are very happy to handle things hands-on. We are on the ground, and there's no better experience than being on the ground, interacting with customers, interacting with contractors, meeting landlords in person. So we're having that advantage right now, being a small company, a young company, to make sure that we are hands-on with everybody. So we'd like to keep it like that as much as possible. We don't know how it will be in the future once we have many more projects and many more people. But right now we're really enjoying being hands-on. Yeah. It's a really good experience.
But I shot a podcast with Mr. Noman Razak actually. He had this very interesting point. He said that, no matter what business you're in, whether it's retail or construction,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you can have an office on the 11th or the 100th floor, but you need to be grounded.
Yeah.
You need to actually sit and listen to your customer,
Yeah.
because if you go, no matter how high you go, if you stop listening to the customer, you're immediately going to fall back down that hard.
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I think, especially coming from a gentleman like that, even till today, I think a lot of his old folks have access to him and to talk to him and discuss with him. And that's something I really admire about that family and that company. It's the same here. We're much smaller, we're much younger, and but we are really enjoying talking to our customers, getting real feedback. There was a client of mine who, who bought a plot with us. He was in Ireland at that time, and the whole plot was purchased over the phone. He wasn't here. He couldn't come. He just got a job there in Ireland, and a virtual tour was given to him of the site and where it is location, a location pin, all of that. His legal due diligence was done by his lawyer, and he bought the plot. He made the transfer. The bank funded his loan, all of that, and he came down for registration. So I said, "Why don't you come and see what you bought? You have not even seen what you bought." So we took him to the site, and he was shocked at what he saw. Because to be honest with you, plotted development, people think is something that's very far out. There are apartments, there are villas, and then there are plots. People think that it's far out. There's nothing happening around. It's a jungle where people are just, clearing up a space and putting roads. It's not like that anymore. And that man was under that impression that, it's in the middle of nowhere. But when he saw Harrow and Stonehill and Dravid Padukone Academy, he saw the STRR, he was shocked out of his mind. He was so happy. So for me to witness that as a developer, the joy on a customer's face was, unparalleled.
Speaking again of like the sales process that you have, can you walk us through how, you sell a 1.5 crore plot to a customer who's never met you, has never seen the project finished, and is buying based on a brochure? What's the actual sales conversation?
So, brochures don't sell real estate. It is, a transparency. It is facts. And of course, following due process of legalities that sells a plot. I think buyers today are smarter than that. They're not going to fall for fancy, glossy brochures, your 3D renders and your walkthroughs. You're able to throw around very little money to get those things, and every developer has it. So what differentiates you from somebody else, what makes that sale actually happen, is a customer actually relating to you, right? I'm having to spend, especially customers who are not around, who are buying plots or real estate on the phone, like you said. It is about transparency. It's about that trust that you can build over that conversation. And by God's grace, I think I've been able to convey that to my clients. It's always been my way to go, where I put my cards on the table. I make sure that everything is transparent. It's on the table. Everything is laid out clearly. So when you talk to a customer like that, it really helps. They're able to understand that there's something genuine that I can look into. But whenever customers ask me, are the legals clear? Can we go ahead? I tell them, don't go by what I'm saying. Get your legal done. Give it to the lawyer. If you don't have a lawyer, we'll put you onto a lawyer. If there are any requisition lists, we'll reply to it. So follow due process. Even if it's friends, relatives, people who know me, don't go by what I'm saying. Do your due process with real estate. And this should be the rule anybody should apply, because you hear a lot of stories where people have, bought real estate, got stuck, money is gone, project not finished, land is lying in litigation. So I think that people should follow due process, and we apply that in our company. We have a system that we follow. We take a booking amount, we send the legal set, legals are clear. It takes a little more time, but the customer's sure, at the end of the day, he's happy with his purchase.
Got it.
Yeah.
This one. So Rajesh always tells one thing, that he never convinces anyone to buy a property.
Yeah.
He just presents them the facts.
Yeah.
And they make their own individual decision.
Yeah. That's so true. You can really not convince anybody anymore. It's not like the olden days. Buyers are very smart. So you have to put down the facts as much as possible. And an experienced realtor, like the one you mentioned, people who have that experience are able to lay down more facts, right? They know more about a certain area. So that's where experience comes in. So the more facts you lay down, the more transparent you are, there's your buyer. The buyer will not leave you and go anywhere.
Got it. And, what's your conversion rate like from like a site visit to actually a closed sale? And what does it approximately cost you per site visit?
I think it's a numbers game. There are multiple developers on the same road. There are multiple projects coming up on the same road. So gaining as much as people in terms of a database, in terms of people inquiring, increasing that inquiry increases your chance of a conversion. I think, say, between 10 people who inquire, 4 to 5 people visit the site, and in that 4 to 5, maybe 2 to 3 people convert. That is an average.
Yeah.
Now, depending on your pricing, depending on your location, depending on your sales team strength, that ratio can go up or down. So if you have a good quality team, the conversions go higher. If your pricing is right, again, your conversions go higher. It's basically, that's how it works.
Speaking again of good quality team,
Yeah.
how important is the right team in real estate?
It is everything. Right from your telecaller, all your money is going on ads, it's going on spend, it's going on hoardings, it's going on Google and Meta and all of those things. It's all translating to customers calling you or your telecaller team calling them. So if that quality is not there, all your money is going down the drain. You're wasting your money over nothing. So we are really investing in staff that can speak well, can communicate clearly, can get the customer to understand what we're doing, where we're doing, and get them to come to the site.
Got it.
Yeah.
And, again, like based on everything that like we've spoken as of now, like if you look at Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart, he didn't run Walmart from a corporate office.
Yeah.
He actually went on the floor, spoke to customers. He'd walk in unannounced when like the cashier wasn't there and things like that. Yeah. Are you using that as sort of like a philosophy for running Bulwark?
Like I said, we are hands-on. We are at the site on the weekends. We're talking to customers. We're talking to realtors. I'm still visiting, a lot of the bigger realtors in Bangalore and sharing what we're doing with them, because we are still not a very big brand. We're still growing. We're still young. We're still new. So people need to meet us in person to put a face to the name, understand where we come from, who we are, what we are about. Are we genuine or not? Because a realtor gets probably 10 calls a day about this project, about that project, events happening. So when you put a face to the name and you meet people in person, I think it makes a real difference.
Got it. And so now who's actually buying a Bulwark plot? What's the real split between end users planning to build a home in maybe 5 years or an investor buyer planning to flip this in like 3?
There is no set buyer. There's not just the IT guy. There's just not the entrepreneur. It's not just business families. Everybody is a buyer for me. I have a dedicated Gurgaon agent sitting in Bangalore who talking to clients in the north, in Delhi and Gurgaon, and explaining to them about Bulwark and selling plots for us. So he is a dedicated Gurgaon guy who's selling plots for us. So we have guys coming in from South Bangalore who want to be part of the growth of the north. In fact, in Northern Boulevard, we have a ton of people buying plots with us who are from South Bangalore. So I don't think any set buyer, only one certain category, but all people from all walks of life who want to, park their money in a certain good asset in a good growth corridor are buying, a plot.
Got it.
Yeah.
So can you walk us through like your entire like sales conversation between like the two phases of buyers, let's say one again, like a person who's actually like planning on like, building and actually staying as compared to like an investor?
Right. So a couple of years ago, it was purely an investment model. We were telling people, buy at so much, it'll appreciate so much in the next 2 to 3 years, which was going to happen anyway. But now people are saying, can we live there? Can we build there? What sanction can I get? How many kitchen sanctions can I get? How high can I go on a certain plot, right? Is there a requirement for PGs there? So the conversation has changed from people buying only a plot for investment purpose, where they'll double their money or triple their money in so many years or pass it down to their children, to now saying, what kind of amenities are you going to give? Are you giving a clubhouse? Are you giving a gym? Are you giving a pool? How much open space is in the community? Can I actually live there? So people are not hesitating to think about moving to the north. If you see most of the plotted developers now you walk into, any big names, a couple of years ago, there were no houses there. It was just empty land, a security guy, a gate, and you would say vacant land. But now you go into any community that is well built, you'll have a couple of houses, 10, 20, 30, 40 houses, construction's going on, people are living there. They want to use the amenities. So that's what's happened in the north.
And do you see this trend just rising?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, schools have come up, companies have moved, Amazon has moved, Philips has moved. A lot of big commercial spaces are coming up in Sadharli and other parts of North Bangalore. So the people are moving for work, schools are close by. So you're looking at a shift of population from where they are now to where this growth is happening.
Again, people used to call Bangalore the Garden City. That primarily used to be the CBD side. A lot of people moved in, things got chaotic. Yeah. North Bangalore right now doesn't have that many people, but a lot of people are moving in.
Yeah.
Do you think North Bangalore is going to see its moment of again getting super crowded, or do you think the kind of planning that's going on there is going to prevent that from happening?
I think that it's definitely planned better than Central Bangalore was planned. The roads are wider. The sanctions are making people give a lot of open spaces, and there are restrictions on how much you can use up in terms of saleable area on each acre. So I think that if the government plans it slightly even more better, it would be beneficial for the years coming forward, because the way people are moving into North Bangalore with the plots, apartments, villas, companies moving, it could get chaotic if not planned well.
Got it. Okay, so now coming to like the trust and credibility bit. Real estate in India has a trust deficit. Half the projects you read about are delayed. RERA hasn't fixed that problem. Customers come in expecting to be cheated. How do you sell against that backdrop?
Yeah, but you're so right about that. People are very defensive when exploring properties, unless it's an A-grade developer, then that factor comes further down. But for a company like us that are new and young, I think that the only way we can build trust is by being transparent with them, building projects that are good and high in quality, finishing on time every time. And now that we have a couple of projects finished in our bag, it's built trust, it's built faith. So now we're walking the talk, right? So we tell people, please come to our site, visit what we've already finished. Don't put money with us. We don't want any upfront money. Get your legal done. Check your RERA, check your sanction, get all of your doubts out of the way, and then buy with us. So we are having to go that extra mile to make sure that customers are satisfied. That is a conversation that we're having with every client, because that is there in their mind and we have to address it. They probably have relatives, they probably have friends who bought something in the past and got stuck with it. I recently spoke to a customer. He works with Caterpillar. He bought a large plot with me at Serene Meadows. And he said that I've lost 15 lakhs this last year. I'm extremely scared. I said, you know what? Don't even give me the booking amount. You're a genuine guy. I know it. Get your legal done. Satisfy yourself and then come back to me. He really appreciated that approach, because they are used to builders hounding them for money. If you don't book now, prices are going to go up. If you don't come forward, you lose the unit. So that, that threat is something that we never use. And it's a real deterrent for clients. So, we just go the extra mile to make sure that they're peaceful. We, tell them, hounding you for money, get you everything done, get it checked, and then you move forward. So that one extra step does help customers, calm down and go ahead with the purchase.
Got it.
Yeah.
You mentioned a very interesting point that you actually show clients your previous project, right? Now that you have a previous project,
thank God for that.
Yeah, it's easier to sell the next one.
Yeah.
How did you sell the first project, not having anything to show for that? Yeah.
It was hard. It was purely a price war. What's happening in Devanahalli right now is there's a gold rush. Every builder wants to put his board there. Every client is coming to buy something there, right? So as a new developer for our last project, we had to really stick our necks out in terms of pricing, in terms of what we were offering, in terms of development. We've given all concrete roads, all underground cabling. We have not compromised anywhere. All our materials are from A-grade companies. We've not cut corners on any of our construction material. And we had a very aggressive timeline of finishing an 18-acre development in 1.5 years, which we did. So I think that also what we did was we started selling only after a certain amount of development was done. So when customers came in, they didn't see barren land. Our underground work was done. Our roads were being laid. So we told them, pay us only how much work is done. Don't pay us more than that. So we had to go that extra mile to make sure that, customers trust us on that first project.
Got it.
Yeah, but it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I met Manjesh Rao from Broker in Blue the other day, and I was asking him a few real estate questions. I just call him here and there to just get some advice. And he was actually telling me that developers who offer a massive discount or things like that, it seems like a great deal in theory, but when a developer is offering a massive discount, there is always something fishy.
Yeah. I think that customers also are very scared about something that's underpriced. Or if the developer's knocking off so much of price just over a phone call. I think customers are very scared. And the way to go forward is to price it right and not offer such high discounts, because it's very speculative. You don't have a proper rate that is going out into the market. So I think having the right approach and having a strategic mindset goes a long way.
Yeah. A follow-up to that again, you've sold out a project in a market where you have guys like Prestige, Brigade, all the big boys with hundreds of crores to throw at marketing. How did you manage to sell a project again with the kind of constraints that you faced that time?
A very interesting point is that when a builder does an apartment project, like I said earlier, 2-3 acre land, 5 acre land, you have hundreds of apartments coming up. With a lot of development, a big developer, one of whom we mentioned now, did a 50 acre development in our area, and there were only 700 plots. So the demand is far much higher than the supply of plots. That is the truth of the matter. So even if you have 10 more developers coming on that road, I still have demand. A lot of people ask me, how did you manage to sell? There was a new project launched by this developer and that developer. And Prestige has launched it at this price, and it's a huge community. I told him, I said, the inventory of these developers comes and it goes away in 2-3 days. I am unfazed with it. My buyers are still coming and buying. My sales people are still meeting their targets week on week. So the demand is extremely high, and I'm only able to build so many plots on an acre. 55% on an acre I'm able to build. So there are only so many plots coming on an acre. I'm not building hundreds of plots.
Yeah.
There are only so many amount of plots that you can build, because it's land. You're not building on top of land.
Yeah.
You're selling the land, right? So there's a constraint in how many plots you can put into an acre in terms of saleable area.
I'm going to ask you a slightly controversial question.
Okay.
Do you think that you've had a competitive moat or a unique advantage compared to these big guys because you're founder led as compared to just a hire or a team led?
Yeah. I think that, there is a section of customers who want to buy with a big developer, and it's very hard to change their mindset, right?
Yeah.
If somebody wants to buy with a certain developer, there's not much conversation you can have with that person. But there are customers who are in the middle, who are okay to explore as long as you can build that trust. So it is a big challenge when you have big boys like Prestige, Sobha, and all these, big developers on the same road as you, but it is a price war. I am not building a lobby. I'm not building bathrooms. I'm not building a structure. It's land. I'm selling land. So I tell customers, you're going into one lane on my side and you're going into another lane on that side. He's selling you land, I'm selling you land. So it's purely a price war. So there, it makes things slightly more easier to handle the big names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how can a customer actually, if I were a customer and just asked you for a good decision-making framework to actually select the right person to buy from, what are just some checklists that a person should keep?
Yeah, that's a very important question. I think that customers should look at a really good growth corridor, first of all, and not go for big names. That's number one. They should look at a corridor that's growing. Look at how the government has planned infra around that area, right? And once you identify a developer, a certain area, you have to check the reliability of the developer. Talk to people who have bought from that developer. Look at what he's finished. You go and visit his projects, right? Are there leaks? Are there cracks? Are there complaints? Is the association happy with the developer's response? So these things really, really help. Of course, title and RERA and all of that, everyone does nowadays. And so those are not very unique points to discuss. But I think doing this ground check really helps.
Got it. So this is like a non-negotiable for any buyer.
100%. I think anybody looking to buy any real estate, whether it's a plot for 75, 80 lakhs, or if it's an apartment or a villa for 5, 10 crores, they should understand who they're buying from.
Got it. So Saad, if I'm, let's say, 24 years old sitting in Bangalore, my startup is generated probably around 5 crore this year. And, I want to start a real estate company, not a brokerage, an actual development play. Where do I start and what's the first 90 days like?
I think that if somebody wants to get into the business, with a certain amount of capital, I don't think that they should go willy-nilly and buy land wherever it's available. I think studying is really important as to which micro market you want to target. Speak to people in that area, network with some brokers, understand the market, do a lot of R&D and get your title checked, and then invest your money. But to be honest with you, I think that there was a family, who reached out to me recently, and they said they wanted to buy a piece of land. And they had a limited budget. They could buy maybe 2 acres in the areas that I am at. So they said, Saad, what should we do? We'll do a project over there. We'll do plots to sell. You're selling so well. We'll do a plot. I told them, I'll give you some honest advice. Don't ever do it. Because in the area that you're at, you have 30 acres by one ex-developer. You have 40 acres by another developer. You are entering a market where there are giants. Your little 2 acres, you really can't offer a club. You can't offer parks. You can't offer children's play areas. You can't do anything with it. You rather buy with somebody at a good rate and resell. If you don't want to be a broker, if you have the money, get a good deal, get into the business with somebody better, because if you're going to take your capital, which is your everything, and put into something really teeny weeny now at this point, I don't think that it's going to really make that much of a difference, because the buyer today is spoiled for choice. The first thing I'm asked when I make a conversation with a client is, how big is the land? What all are you giving? Is it a 5 acre? Is it 50 acres? Are you giving a club? Are you giving children's play areas? What is the open space? Can my kid go out and skate and play and run? So these are the conversations that you're going to have. So if you're going to put all of your money, like you said, into a little small piece of land, 10 crores is not much nowadays.
Yeah.
You probably get a 3,000, 4,000 square feet plot somewhere, and you're going to build a standalone building and struggle to sell. So I don't think you should get into a business where you're going to struggle to sell. Be in a business where you can be happy to sell, be a part of something bigger. And I think that would be a good start for somebody who wants to enter the market.
Got it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't realize this, but before Prestige actually got into construction, they were into flipping real estate for quite a number of years. Before you started Bulwark, you were a realtor. You've sold hundreds of properties. If you had to rate, I'm just going to give you 2 words. You need to rate one above the other: capital or experience in real estate before starting.
I think that experience will definitely go a long way. Capital can come. One thing that I've realized as I've been in this business is that money is not hard to get. You have investors now chasing you because once you make money for people, they will never leave you. So I think that you will realize that money is not the problem. It is expertise, it is trust, it is a long vision that will take you far in life. Today, if you have a good product, a good company, and you make a couple of calls, it's not very hard to raise money. People are sitting with money, they are scared where to put it with. So if you can build that trust, build that, that reputation, I don't think money is a problem. So definitely experience over capital.
Got it. And if there were a young 18-year-old guy right now sitting a third person here, and he actually asked you okay, Saad, I want to get this experience, but how do I go about it? What would you tell him?
I think that he should work with a good developer, work with a good agency. Doesn't matter. I see a lot of the people I'm hiring today have worked for bigger brands. They have the experience, they have the know-how. I'm not having to spend a whole bunch of time trying to teach them the business. So I think working and staying in that business for a long time is key. A lot of people, I feel, they keep flipping this trade, that trade, because real estate is a hard business to be in. It is the hardest thing to sell. You're making people take their life savings out of their banks, out of their assets, and buy something with you. So it is not an easy decision for you to convince them to make. So I think that once you spend enough time in this business, you really can grow, but you have to give that time.
Got it. And what's the attrition rate like in this business?
What do you mean?
Again, when it comes to F&B,
yeah.
I think one of the biggest complaints that F&B owners usually have is my staff keeps leaving.
Yeah.
What is the attrition rate like in real estate?
I think the challenges that we face primarily is with the approvals and sanctions and the NOCs and government compliances. So that takes a ton of time. And of course, you also have issues with landlords.
Yeah.
So, we've been fortunate enough to have really good landlords, and we don't have a whole bunch, but everyone who we've worked with so far has been very good, and we've been very good to them. But a lot of people face challenges with landlords who change their mind, change their words, forge documents, false claims and false promises. So a lot of people get stuck who don't know the business well.
Yeah.
The big boys, usually get away with it because they are very strong, they have the experience. But people who don't know much can get into a lot of trouble. So that is an issue in this business.
How do you protect yourself against this as a smaller developer?
I think definitely doing a full 9-mile check on due diligence.
Got it.
Also working with the right people. I always tell friends and colleagues, meet the people first, then start your legal. If you get a good vibe from them, you have a good feeling from them, then start. Because your legal can be crystal clear, but if the people are crooked, it doesn't make any sense.
Got it. Rajesh always says actually that he's a part-time real estate agent, part-time lawyer. How important do you think is, having legal knowledge as a broker?
Honestly, I think that as a realtor, you don't have all knowledge.
Yeah.
You need to have taxation knowledge, you need to have legal knowledge, you need to have knowledge on what's coming, what's not happening. You need to have knowledge of which developers launching what, where. So as a realtor especially, you need to be very diverse in a variety of fields because most buyers don't know a lot. Yeah. They don't know tax laws, they don't know what the registration fees are, they don't know the smaller bits of a transaction would suddenly pop up and they're like, oh, we don't know about this. So I think a real estate agent needs to have a lot of knowledge and should educate the client a lot along the way.
Yeah, got it. We've spoken actually about your first project. Can you tell us a bit about the second one?
So we have launched another project on the same road. We're pretty strong in that area and we're very happy with that area because it's seeing a lot of growth. The Chapparakallu-IVC road junction. Right now we're doing a project, a 30-acre development very close to the IVC road. And again, same format, good landlords, clean titles, one of the biggest law firms in Bangalore clearing the title, RERA approved, priced right. So we are seeing a lot of traction there, and we're waiting for our final RERA approval to come through. But we've got tons of bookings, and we're really happy with the way that project is going.
Got it. You enunciate on a price, right?
Yeah.
But how do you identify the right price?
I think that as long as you're reasonable in your pricing, most developers who are starting out, they say, if I buy this land at this price, you see that guy, he's selling it at that price. Ex-developer selling it at that price. But they've been there for 40 years. You can't charge what they are charging. They have a legacy behind them, right? They can charge what they want and they'll move the stock in 3 days. So we have to be very practical. Right now, we're at a 30-40% lesser than the market, and that's the value we're offering. We're still making a reasonable margin, giving excellent quality, and that's where we differentiate ourselves from everybody else around.
Got it.
It's a price war. It's a price war in that area. Every plot is pretty much the same. They are giving roads, you're giving roads. They're on that side of the road, they're on this side of the road. So why does somebody buy with you? So it's primarily a price war, and of course, your quality of work and your timeline should be intact.
Got it. And Saad, I think, if anyone drives by the airport road, they're going to see hundreds of real estate hoardings, and every hoarding is going to say luxury, luxury, luxury.
Yeah.
But in today's day and age, when every developer is actually is calling their project luxury, what is truly luxurious?
I think that word has just been misused, and that's something that everybody wants to use. I think luxury is getting satisfaction with your purchase when you walk into your project and you see a well-built community where you use good quality, the lamppost, the landscape, the security, the cameras. When you feel great about what you bought, that is luxury. It is not hoarding, it is not glossy brochures, it's not a claim, that looks nice on a brochure. It is actually the feeling you get when you buy that product.
Got it.
Yeah.
And again, coming back to a bit of the marketing process of Northern Boulevard, how did you go about with the marketing?
I think that we reached out to everybody we knew. Because I was from a real estate background, I have a excellent connection with my fellow, brokers, channel partners who know me very well, transacted with me, did business with me. So that really, really helped me in my business. If I wasn't from that background, if I was new with just money, I don't think that I would have been able to make inroads into the industry. Talking to friends, colleagues who I've dealt with on apartments and villas, telling them that, hey, listen, I've started something. I'm doing something, that is of my own, and I'm selling a clean title. They said, Saad, this is great. This is great news. When can we come and meet you? So that friendly atmosphere, that familiar atmosphere really helped me a long way in this business.
Do you think they felt that this one too, that, chalo, one of us is actually starting and becoming a developer?
I don't know how many were happy and how many weren't happy, but I'm sure that every realtor, wants to own the stock.
Yeah.
Because it's one of the challenges of being in the business. I'm sure you've spoken to so many real estate agents who are, prominent realtors in Bangalore. They're all friends of mine. The challenge is not owning the stock, right? So if you don't do the trade, someone else does the trade. So you don't own the client, you don't own the stock, and suddenly the stock is gone. So I think that every realtor wants to own the stock. That's where your underwriting comes into play. And you have mandate partners now that are doing really, really well. That is another huge business that has taken over Bangalore. And
what is that?
Mandate partners.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if you know, but a lot of developers who are extremely busy with finance and acquisition and all of that hand over their sales to mandate partners.
Okay.
There are multiple mandate partners and they're doing really, really well. So these guys are ex-Purvankara or ex-Prestige or ex-XYZ, and they have started their own company and they do only sales. So they have a mandate from that developer to handle the stock, they station their people on the side, they spend on marketing, and they take a certain brokerage. So you don't have to worry about your sales. So that also is a huge business that's happening in Bangalore today.
Got it. All right. And again, when you were a realtor, you've essentially faced problems from customers, obviously, but you've also, every realtor has challenges with a developer.
Yeah.
Now that you've transitioned into being a developer, what has that taught you?
I think that, we've faced so many challenges as channel partners, from timelines to title to getting our commissions out to getting handover on time. You sell the dream to the buyer, and then in the end, the developer disappoints you. So being on this flip side, we're making sure that, we don't do those things. I tell my team, I said, first pay the broker. He's taken the client, he's convinced the client, he's closed the deal, he's raised his invoice. first pay him. So we are really, really friendly with channel partners to make sure that they're happy, because they are the nerve center of this industry. They are the one driving the sales. So I think that being on the flip side, we are really trying to make sure that we don't do those mistakes. And we've achieved that in Northern Boulevard. We finished it within 18 months. Customers are extremely happy. They were expecting delays with a new developer, with a young developer. They said, maybe, this guy is going to delay it by a year, because that is by default. A year or two delay is the default delay in Bangalore. But we didn't do that. We finished it on time. We handed over. So that really helped build us a good reputation.
How did you do that?
We didn't divert funds.
Okay.
We didn't divert funds.
Yeah.
We kept the funds in place. We said, guys, we're not going to move this money out. We have 10 other projects that are coming up. Don't take this money out, which everybody does. It's a very tempting business, this real estate business. You are starting with one thing. You have a guy coming to you saying, sir, this has come up. He needs a couple of crores. You can lock in that land. This land has come up. It's a beautiful opportunity. It's on that road. So you start taking money out of this project and you start diverting it. And then you assume, no, sales are going good and it will continue. It's enough for this project. So there's a lot of money management happening in the wrong way. So what we did in Northern Boulevard was we clamped down. We said, guys, we're not going to do any other projects. We're going to start and finish this whole thing in one go, and then we'll see. So that really helped. Funds stayed there. Funds went into the construction. Funds went into the landowner's account. Channel partners got paid. And of course, in the end, we were also able to earn something.
Got it.
Yeah.
I think when I'd spoken to Mr. Rizwan Razak, he had this thing that just one word to succeed in life: focus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just focus and everything else is done.
Absolutely. And I think Prestige has, kept that motto throughout. And especially the family, they have maintained the relationship so well with people. I hear praises about that family, about that group from everybody. And it's very aspirational for us. We look up to a company like that is built on good models, good foundation. I remember walking into Prestige office one time when I had bought an apartment, and I met with Irfan uncle. And he said, how come you're here? I said, uncle, I bought something at Prestige Jindal City and I sold it. He said, did you make money? I said, yes, uncle, I did. So see, he said, when you deliver on time and give a good product, everybody is happy. So I think that those a few key words, if you stick to, you can be really successful. I think our motto is not to be in a hurry. There's a lot of rush in this business. People are looking to launch multiple projects. I'm doing so much acreage. I'm doing so many lakh square feet. I don't think we should get into competition, because there's enough and more for everybody to make. As long as you're focused and you're transparent and you have a long-term vision, we are still a young team. We don't have to be in a hurry. Maybe we have 20, 30 years of business left in us. I think there's a long way to go. As long as we do it correctly and properly, we can get somewhere someday.
Speaking of these kind of historical developments and things that like Prestige has done, what is your vision with the Bulwark Group?
I'm hoping to get into a built-up area very shortly. I really want to use our creativity, good architects, really build spaces, because right now we're just doing plots, which is great. We're offering a lot of value to clients. We're doing good projects, but there's really not that much to show. We really want to get into villas in North Bangalore right now. We're exploring lands. We finalized a few things. So I think going forward, we do want to get into build really nice, beautiful spaces with, lush green landscape, build a good club, have families enjoy those spaces. So that's the vision. We're going to continue doing that. Focus is on North Bangalore for now.
Got it. And if I was someone with 1 crore in my bank account watching this and thinking, should I buy a plot in Devanahalli or an apartment? Yeah. What's your honest answer, not the Bulwark answer? So
I'll tell you honestly, I got a lot of calls from friends, relatives, friends of friends who called me from abroad and here and there. And they say, Saad, Godrej has launched, Satwa has launched apartments in in North Bangalore, and you're doing plots further down. What should I buy? My simple question is, what do you want to make the investment for? Are you buying to live there? Are you looking to rent, create a rental income for yourself? Or is it an investment? If it is an investment, I'll say don't buy the apartment. Buy land, because in terms of capital appreciation, you can't compare an apartment appreciation to a land. But if the client says, I'm looking to move back in a couple of years, I want a home for my family, I would say, please go ahead, buy with a good brand, buy with a good developer, go for it. So that is a clear distinction. It is not a Bulwark answer. It is just a transparent answer on the requirement. Got it. Something that I've learned over the years is to understand clients' requirements. Even though I represent a developer and I'm part of a development firm, I'm a director at the company, I still consult clients on a lot of their choices and their questions, because they're really clueless. They don't know what to do. They want to do this and they want to do that, but they don't have a clear direction. So I really advise them very transparently. There was one client who I spoke to recently, and he said, Saad, what else is there on that road? Where should I buy? I said, sir, please buy anywhere on that road, as long as you're getting a good price. But no one will give you my price. So you buy with me. But buy on that road. So I am telling clients, advising clients to buy. I'm not always pushing our agenda. Of course, our sales staff is hired to talk about our developments. But when a friend calls me, I'm saying buy, invest in land.
What makes you so bullish about the road that you're specifically building on?
I have seen that road transform over the last 5 years, and it's not just the price that went from 2 to 10 crores per acre. It is the number of schools that have come up. It is the warehousing that has come up, the manufacturing that has come just across the road, the amount of villa developments that have come up. There were no villas there just 3-4 years ago. I have friends of mine now who are doing premium luxury villas on that road, and other developers are doing apartments on that road, which was not even thinkable just a few years back. So people are moving in. So I'm very, very bullish on the road that we are on right now.
Got it. And again, coming to a bit of the mistakes and lessons that you've learned over the years, what's the worst property deal that you've done in which you didn't make any money or actively lost some money?
Fortunately, we haven't lost any money by God's grace. But of course, we have put money into places where it really delayed us a lot. And but the thing is that we were in a position where the delay kind of helped us. The prices rose even further. And finally, when the land cleared, we were able to reap the benefits of that delay. So, even in spite of doing all the legal due diligence, in spite of doing all the groundwork that we had to do, there will be some challenges that you face in the business that we're in. But the delays, usually if you're in the position where the delays help you, is beneficial.
Got it. Okay, I think we're done with the scripted questions. I have a couple of more questions for you. You've, not just you, actually every developer that I have spoken to has always mentioned that the biggest problem in real estate is the entire the amount of permissions it takes. Now these permissions are actually supposed to protect a consumer, but at what point does it start? At what point does it go beyond protecting the consumer and actually becomes a hurdle in actually creating a good development?
Yeah. So I mean, in terms of approvals for layouts and for building and things like that, we have multiple NOCs, sanctions. You have the STRR approval, which we do for Northern Boulevard. Serene Meadows has a BIAPA approval. Approvals take a ton of time. Meetings happen, once in 45 days, once in a month. And if your file is not submitted in that meeting, it gets delayed month on month. So these are things that we really can't control. And customers today are very smart. They are their own lawyers. They are using AI to understand law. They're asking all kinds of questions. They're vetting their agreements. So I mean, in terms of all of that, we have to just make sure that we are transparent with what we do. It works really well that way.
If you were let's say you got into politics and you could change a couple of laws when it comes to real estate in Karnataka, real estate in Bangalore, what are some things you'd change?
I think that I wouldn't change much. I would because again, change takes a long time and people suffer with the timelines. But I think if you could speed up the process and make it simpler, it would really help a lot of people who have parked their money in land, waiting for approvals. Customers have made their EOIs. It would just make things a lot more easier. So there's a lot of red tape. There's a lot of things that we need to do to make sure our approvals are going through. So if those things are cut out, and if there was single window clearances, which they are planning to do, if they implement those things that they are planning to do, I think that should be more than enough.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. And I think that's it. That brings us towards the conclusion. Yeah, another thing is, so we've talked for over an hour. What's one thing that I didn't ask you that I should have?
Will I do this for the next 30 years?
Yeah, okay, will you? Will you?
Yeah, I think if things are the way they are, I'd love to be in the business that I'm in. I'm very passionate about the business that I'm in. And I always like talking to clients and customers. And the day I am not able to get on a phone call or meet a client or talk to a client, it's a really dull, boring day for me. So I think as long as that I'm interacting with clients and advising people, I think I'll still do what I'm doing.
If you weren't in real estate, what do you think you would be in?
I'd probably be in my father's shop, selling furniture for my father, and being in the shop from 10 in the morning to 10 in the night, just like all my other family members are.
Got it. So sales through and through.
Sales through and through, but instead of real estate, I'd be selling retail.
Okay, another thing that we didn't cover actually is, we've seen the Bombay guys, we've seen the Dubai guys
Yeah.
leveraging social media
Yeah.
to actually push a lot of properties.
Yeah.
How important do you think is leveraging social media in 2026 for real estate, not just as a developer, as a or like a broker?
I think that it's still new to people in India because in Dubai we're very used to the bling. We're very used to the flashy videos and all the the 4K interactive videos and all of that in Dubai because they are leaders in real estate. But recently, in the past couple of years, I think that we have caught on also, and rightfully so. Customers are spending a lot of time online on Insta and on Facebook and YouTube. They are able to understand who is doing what where, and if a realtor wants to really show his products. Nowadays, I'm seeing a lot of ads. A lot of my realtor friends who are selling for us doing vlogs and videos and a lot of walkthroughs and things like that. So I think it is the way to go forward. It is the only way to reach customers. People are spending a lot of time online and a lot of research is happening from the home. So yeah, it's great to see that we are catching up with what's happening in the world.
Yeah, I think I'd seen this. I forget the broker's name. I think his name is Farooq. Springfield Properties.
Okay, I'm not
from Dubai.
Okay, right.
Yeah. So I think he was talking once about how he sold like a multi-million-dollar home through a TikTok lead.
Yeah. I don't think that we're there yet.
Yeah, but do you think that could happen in India?
I don't think so.
No.
I think the Indian buyer is very smart. He's slow in his decision. We're not in a hurry. There's no rush. As far as I know, we've never liked to rush clients. I've never told a client, if you don't do this tomorrow, you're going to lose the unit. It never works. And the customer most likely will tell you, let them go ahead and sell it. So an Indian buyer is not in a hurry. I don't think that you can sell $1 million real estate or crores of rupees worth of real estate over a TikTok video or an Instagram video. But you can create awareness. You can explain yourself better. You can draw the client to the site, explain to him and make him, make a well-educated decision.
Yeah. And what do you think about like the whole situation in the Middle East right now with the kind of uncertainty that's there? Especially with with real estate in Dubai, do you think this is actually going to have, what impact is this going to have on real estate?
I'm hoping it will have a positive impact in Bangalore because people who are investing in Dubai for rentals and for safety and for parking their money in Dubai and from India, I think they will want to leave their money in India itself.
Yeah.
I think that I'm looking at increase in business from NRI clients, thinking that Bangalore is a safer bet than a speculative, debatable, bet with Dubai.
Yeah. I mean, aside from the whole war that happened, what is the case for Bangalore real estate versus Dubai real estate?
I think that Bangalore real estate is more real. It is more practical. If you see the growth of Bangalore has been a steady growth. It has not been a huge spike and a huge fall, which is in the case of Dubai. Having said that, people, have got great properties in Dubai as well. They're earning good rental in Dubai as well. And but the average buyer in Bangalore who I cater to, who I talk to, who I deal with, are going to buy in Bangalore itself. They'll want their home in Bangalore. They'll want their investment in Bangalore. They want to see where their asset is. So I don't think it's that easy to manage a foreign asset. As good as it sounds to have a house in Dubai, it sounds very fancy and great. But I don't think it's that easy to manage a foreign asset. I think people will like to be more practical and have their assets where they can see them.
Got it. And coming to the last question, with the Prime Minister's speech that took place a couple of days ago, him asking again, the primary thing there again being India's trade deficit is widening.
Yeah.
I think the rupee is 95.06 to a dollar.
Yeah.
Do you think this is the moment for real estate developers in India to actually start focusing more on NRI buyers?
I think that the NRIs have a huge advantage because of the currency that they are holding. And a lot of my buyers are from the UAE. A lot of them are from the UK. We had a ton of buyers who have bought properties from abroad with us, and they are able to buy a lot of real estate because of the currency that has fallen in India, and so they have an advantage. And that's why a lot of developers are targeting NRI buyers. And right now, with the war and all the situation, I think that we should spend more on marketing and reach out to NRI buyers in the UAE.
Yeah. I think Nikhil Kamath asked Mr. Irfan Razak this on his podcast, but do you think land prices could ever fall down?
I don't think so. I don't think it ever has. If you talk to any old real estate guy in Bangalore who's been there, done that, I don't think he'll ever say to you that the land prices have fallen down. They may have slowed down. They may have come slightly down from what they were, but it's never fallen.
Got
So yeah, I would never think that the land prices will ever fall.
Got it. And if you, let's say you didn't have Bulwark properties, let's say there is an alternate reality where you weren't associated with this, and you had money to invest in a property, aside from Bulwark, where would you park your money?
I still would bet on North Bangalore.
Okay.
I would look at doing a project there. I would look to raise money from friends and investors to do something there. So I would definitely be in the real estate space, and that has been my passion. That's my life, and I'm not going to change my ways.
Got it. Can I sum it up by saying that you're like a North Bangalore man through and through?
I have become one.
Become one. Okay.
I used to be a CBD man, selling KFT and selling, apartments in Level Road and other places in central Bangalore. And now with the city moving in that direction, we too have moved to cater to that requirement.
Do you think that North Bangalore can ever have its moment where we have like a prime stretch? Like CBD has Level Road, it has MG Road, it has...
I believe that the road we're on with this, with the David Padukone, Stonehill School, Harrow School, I think that one stretch is going to be something else in the next 10 years.
Got it.
You're going to have malls there, you're going to have offices there, you're going to have houses there. It's going to be extremely expensive.
Got it. What is that road called?
It's called the Chapparakallu-IVC road.
Chapparakallu.
Road is one road, and perpendicular you have the IVC road.
Got it. I think I saw Forum North Bangalore is coming up somewhere.
Just before the toll, you have Prestige building the Forum Mall, and they're building a hotel. And just within, the airport toll, if you take a left in Sadhalli, you have a ton of development by Lodha, by the Niku homes is coming there. So there's lakhs and lakhs of square footage of residential spaces coming there within the airport vicinity.
So I think it's safe to say that like it's not just developers in Bangalore, but developers outside Bangalore too noticing the kind of growth happening here.
Yeah, if you see any of the developers from Delhi and Bombay that have landed up in Bangalore, they've all gone north because central Bangalore is saturated. And also one important point is that developers in Bangalore are very strong with their lands. They've got their tentacles, they've got their hooks deep into the business. So if you see Prestige, they launched in Bombay in the most prime areas possible, but it's not the case in Bangalore. They were not able to launch their prime towers in central Bangalore. It's not possible. They've had to go near Manyata, they've had to go near Sadhalli. So that is something that's quite interesting to notice.
I think I've seen this thing on Twitter where someone is talking about how like you have like Indian developers and then like Bangalore developers as a whole, like a handful of guys who've just managed to like capture the whole market.
Absolutely. The 5 to 10 top boys they've been there and they're going to be there for times to come.
What do you think like got them that position? Because like all of them, like I think you would talk about like your Prestige, your Embassy, your Brigade, all of them started around a similar time.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think unites all of these guys? Like your Jeetu Virvani, your Emma Jaishankar, Irfan Razak, all of them.
I think that, they started at a time where Bangalore did not know any real estate. I feel that, they were the founders of the real estate business in Bangalore. And they have consistently been there. They have not diverted. They have focused. They've expanded. And I think that that's why they are where they are today. So you can't compete with a 30, 40-year-old legacy. We're just babies compared to them. So, you learn from them and then you aspire to, grow as much as you can.
Got it.
Yeah.
And I think, last question, I swear this time. What is 30 years later, like Prestige has Kingfisher Towers, right? 30 years later, what is that one prime development that you hope to have done?
I hope that we can do something really special in our Bangalore.
Yeah.
Because the CBD has definitely seen its time.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to see any remarkable towers like KFT ever again.
Yeah.
So I hope that, we build ourselves that much and we grow that much in the future that we can do something remarkable in terms of a villa or a high-rise tower in our Bangalore one day.
Do you have any have you dreamt of anything like this? Or is this something that you want to do with the flow?
I think that we will go with the flow.
Yeah.
We're not in any hurry, like I said. I think being in a hurry is a big mistake. So we will go one step at a time and our time will come. As long as we're consistent and we're honest and transparent, I think our time will come.
Got it. All right. Well, it's been a pleasure chatting with you, Saad. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Having it.
Done. Perfect.